Hey, Celtics Nation! We're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Boston Celtics. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. This way, you'll always stay up to date and never miss out on any exclusive news. Alright folks, things are heating up in Boston, and not because of the cold New England winter rolling in. The latest buzz shaking the NBA world is that none other than Larry Bird, the living legend himself, has reportedly sent a strong message to his old team, the Boston Celtics. Yeah, you heard that right. Larry Legend, the man who defined Celtics basketball for an entire generation, might have just thrown a little shade toward the current leadership. Word is, Bird believes it's time for a serious change on the sidelines. According to whispers around the league, Bird has privately expressed concern that the current coaching staff isn't pushing the team to its full potential. He's allegedly told close contacts that Boston needs a new voice, a new fire, to wake up the locker room and reignite that championship mentality that once defined this franchise. Whether it's frustration with inconsistent performances or disappointment after another deep playoff run ending short, Bird seems to think the problem runs deeper than just bad luck. It's about accountability, passion, and identity. Three things Larry Bird knows more about than almost anyone who's ever laced up a pair of sneakers in that legendary green and white. What's really making the story blow up is how unusual it is for Bird to speak out at all. The man is known for keeping things quiet, for letting his game, and later his executive decisions, do the talking. But when Larry Bird talks about the Celtics, people listen. This isn't just any ex-player with an opinion. This is a three-time NBA champion, a three-time MVP, and one of the sharpest basketball minds alive. People inside the organization are reportedly a bit rattled by his remarks, not because they disagree, but because they know he doesn't speak without purpose. If Bird says the Celtics need a new coach, it's not out of impulse. It's because he sees something missing. Some close to the team say he's worried about the lack of grit and emotional edge that once defined Boston basketball. He's allegedly been telling people that this generation of Celtics players, while talented, seem to lack that killer instinct, the kind that turned rivalries with the Lakers into wars and made every possession feel like life or death. It's the Bird mentality, the championship mindset, that he feels needs to come back. Now, here's where things start to get even juicier. Some insiders are saying Bird has even floated a few names he believes could bring the spark back. While he hasn't said anything publicly, speculation is that he's hinted at wanting someone with old-school toughness. Maybe even a former player who understands the weight of wearing that jersey. Others think he might be eyeing a young, hungry coach from the college ranks who can bring in a fresh system and challenge the stars to evolve. Either way, this isn't just about tactics or playbooks. Bird's rumored comments suggest he's talking about culture, the soul of the team. He's reportedly frustrated seeing the Celtics play beautiful basketball but lack that emotional intensity that makes champions. For Bird, talent without fire is wasted potential, and that's exactly what he might be seeing right now from a squad that should be dominating the league. The question is, will the front office take his words seriously, or will they shrug it off as nostalgia from an icon longing for the old days? It's not the first time a legend has called out their former team, but when it comes from Larry Bird, it hits different. This man's word carries the weight of banners, the kind that hang high in TD Garden. Fans have started debating whether Bird's right. Is it really the coach's fault? Some say yes, pointing to questionable rotations, lack of adjustments in crunch time, and an offense that sometimes goes ice cold under pressure. Others argue the players need to look in the mirror. After all, it's not the coach missing open threes or turning the ball over. But Bird's comments seem to go beyond X's and O's. They're about leadership, about energy, the kind of fire that starts on the bench and spreads to the floor. If he thinks a new voice could reignite that, maybe he's seeing something the rest of us don't. After all, Bird has always had an eye for what makes a team tick, and when he senses something off, history shows he's usually right. Of course, there's another angle that's got people whispering. Could Bird himself be positioning for something more? Maybe not to coach, but to have a say, a consultant role, an advisor, or even a temporary position to help recalibrate the Celtics culture. People forget that Bird isn't just a legend on the court. He's also one of the most respected executives in league history. What he did with the Indiana Pacers proved that his basketball brain is as sharp as ever. If he's calling out the Celtics' direction, maybe he's also signaling that he's ready to help fix it. Imagine the shockwaves if Bird returned in any capacity. It would be seismic, a jolt of electricity straight through the heart of the franchise. Fans would rally behind it instantly, and players would feel that pressure, that expectation, that sense of legacy that's been missing for years. Because when Larry Bird walks in a room, everything changes. Now, here's the kicker. According to sources close to Bird, this wasn't meant to be a public jab. He's not out here trying to embarrass anyone or start drama. He's speaking from passion, from love for the game and the Celtics name. He knows what greatness looks like, and he knows when it's slipping away. Some people interpret that as criticism. Others see it as tough love from a legend who refuses to let mediocrity settle in Boston. Either way, the message has landed. The question now is, will management respond? Will they make changes, or will they double down on the current coaching staff and risk proving Bird right? The Celtics are one of the most storied franchises in all of sports, but even the greatest dynasties need a spark now and then. Maybe, just maybe, Larry Bird is trying to light that flame once again, the same one that burned so bright when he wore number 33. And now, as we move into the second part of this story, the conversation around the league has shifted from whispers to full-blown speculation. Reporters are dissecting every word, every gesture from the Celtics front office, looking for signs that Bird's words are hitting home. The team's public relations people are keeping tight-lipped, but sources say the tension behind the scenes is real. Coaches are feeling the heat, players are a bit uneasy, and the fans? Oh, the fans, they're buzzing like never before. It's the kind of situation that can either break a team or forge it into something unstoppable. Bird's message wasn't just criticism, it was a challenge. He's daring the Celtics to look in the mirror, to ask themselves if they really have the heart to bring another championship back to Boston. Because let's be honest, with this much talent on the roster, anything short of a title feels like failure. And Larry Bird doesn't accept failure. Never did, never will. What's interesting here is how current and former players are reacting. A few ex-Celtics, including some of Bird's former teammates, have reportedly backed his comments privately. They're saying the modern Celtics have all the tools, but not the temperament. They miss the days when leadership wasn't about smiles and slogans, but about showing up every night ready for war. On the flip side, a few current stars have subtly pushed back, saying the locker room is tighter than ever and that outside voices don't know what's really happening behind the scenes. But that's the thing, Bird does know. He's been there. He's lived the grind. That's why this whole situation feels so explosive. It's not just a retired player ranting. It's the voice of Celtics tradition calling out to a team that might be drifting too far from its roots. And in Boston, where history matters more than almost anywhere else, that call is impossible to ignore. The ripple effect is already being felt across the league. Rival executives are quietly watching, wondering if Boston's internal drama might open the door for trade opportunities or coaching shakeups. One anonymous GM even told a reporter, "When Bird talks, you listen, because he usually speaks right before something big happens." That's the reputation he's built. When he points out a weakness, it's like a premonition. Fans are flooding social media with theories, suggesting names for possible replacements if a coaching change really happens. Some are calling for an old-school name like Kevin Garnett to take the reins. Others want a modern tactician like Sam Cassell or Becky Hammond to bring a new voice to the locker room. Whatever happens next, this moment feels like a turning point. Either Boston doubles down on stability, or they take a leap, a Larry Bird, approved leap into a new era. The timing, the pressure, and the stakes could not be higher. Inside the Celtics organization, though, the mood is reportedly tense. Meetings are being held, discussions are getting heated, and everyone seems to know they're under the microscope. The team's top brass doesn't want to look reactive, but ignoring Larry Bird isn't exactly an option either. Even if he's not formally connected to the team anymore, his shadow looms large over everything green. Some insiders say ownership has already reached out to gauge his thoughts more directly, not to offer him a job, but to understand what he's seeing that they might be missing. Because when you've got a basketball mind like Bird's offering perspective, you don't dismiss it. You study it. You listen. And right now, if his message truly is that Boston needs a new coach, then you can bet the front office is at least having that conversation, whether they admit it publicly or not. For fans, this has turned into must-watch drama. Every press conference, every post-game interview is being analyzed word by word. Is the coach losing confidence? Are players sending hidden messages through their tone or body language? The speculation is endless, and it's feeding a frenzy that Boston sports media absolutely loves. Talk shows are debating whether Bird's comments are fair or outdated, with some arguing that modern NBA coaching is about relationships more than fear. But others point out that Bird's brand of leadership, tough, direct, demanding, might be exactly what's missing from today's game. The Celtics have the talent to win it all, but talent alone doesn't raise banners. It's the mental edge, the unity, the relentless pursuit of perfection. And that's what Bird always embodied. If he thinks that energy is gone, then something's definitely up. At the end of the day, one thing's clear: this isn't just a passing rumor anymore. It's a statement, a spark that's ignited a conversation bigger than one team or one coach. Larry Bird has once again become the voice of Celtics pride, and whether you agree with him or not, you can't deny the impact. His words have brought the soul of Boston basketball back into the spotlight, forcing everyone to remember what made this franchise great in the first place. Now it's up to the Celtics to respond, not with talk, but with action. Will they rise to the challenge? Or will this be remembered as the moment when the cracks started to show? One thing's for sure: when Larry Bird speaks, the NBA listens. And right now, the entire basketball world is waiting to see if Boston will answer the call of its greatest legend. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. What's fascinating about this entire situation is how it bridges generations of Celtics basketball, from the era of Bird, McHale, and Parrish to today's dynamic stars trying to carve out their own legacy. There's a sense that Bird's comments, whether intentional or not, are forcing everyone in the organization to reflect on what the Celtics name truly represents. It's not just about winning games, it's about doing it with identity, grit, and pride. Bird's era was built on intensity and accountability. Players policed themselves, and the coach was the final authority. Now, in a modern NBA defined by player empowerment, that kind of leadership feels rare. But maybe that's exactly why Bird spoke up. Maybe he's not just calling out the coach, but calling for the entire culture of the team to shift, to embrace responsibility, to bring back that edge that made Boston basketball feared and respected around the league. Because in Bird's eyes, the Celtics aren't just another team. They're supposed to set the standard. And let's be real, Larry Bird has never been one to chase headlines or stir controversy for attention. When he speaks, it's because he feels something deep in his gut. Those who know him say he's been quietly watching the Celtics for years, rooting for them, but also noticing a gradual drift away from the values that built those banners in the rafters. He's reportedly told friends that he doesn't recognize the energy on the court anymore. Too calm, too controlled, too mechanical. Bird's Celtics were messy in the best way possible. They fought, they barked, they bled for every inch. That's the kind of passion he believes breeds championships. So when he says they need a new coach, maybe it's not just about strategy. Maybe it's about emotion. About finding someone who can reignite that spark, who can walk into the locker room and remind every player what it means to wear Boston across their chest. Because to Bird, that's sacred. If history tells us anything, it's that when Larry Bird issues a challenge, it doesn't fade away quietly. The Celtics organization has a decision to make: stay the course and hope the team figures it out, or listen to the words of their greatest icon and embrace change. Fans are split, but one thing unites them. They want to see fire again. They want that hunger, that Boston toughness that refuses to settle for anything less than excellence. Maybe this controversy is exactly what the Celtics needed: a wake-up call from a man who embodies everything they stand for. Whether or not they act on Bird's message, it's clear his words have already done something powerful. They've reignited a conversation about identity, legacy, and heart. And in a city like Boston, that conversation means everything. Because if there's one truth that never changes, it's this. Larry Bird doesn't just talk basketball, he defines it. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.